This doll took the life out of me, so let's get to it. And make sure you guys watch part 2 after this one. I want to reintroduce you guys to a game that's all about customization and creativity, and that is Life Makeover. Life Makeover is a captivating simulation game where you can let your imaginations run wild. As I craft every detail of this Emma Frost doll in Life Makeover, you can build your dream house, customize your virtual image, and even raise the cutest pets. And guess what? The brand new version Dance of Vanity is coming online for a limited time from June 12th to July 2nd. It features 5-star new clothing line like the Snow-Clad Butterfly and the Curtain Banquet, perfect for those who love fashion. Just like Emma Frost is a unique character in the X-Men universe, your pet in Life Makeover will truly be one of a kind, thanks to the unique AI genetics and mutation algorithm. Got that? Mutation. The chance of having the same baby pet is now 1 in 100 million. Truly unique. The pet system is also newly launched. You can customize more than 50 features of your baby pet. Watch their realistic soft fur blowing in the wind, and interact with them using the AI-driven system. You can feed them, play with them, and clean up after them. It's like having a real pet with heartbeats and all. Immerse yourself in petting, playing, feeding, and talking in first-person perspective, and spend happy moments together with your pet family. So if you love creating and customizing like I do, definitely check out Life Makeover in the description down below. It's a world where you can bring your wildest dreams to life. Thank you again to Life Makeover for sponsoring this video, and now let's go ahead and get started with our White Queen, Miss Emma Frost. Hello, we are here, we are back at it again with more stress. I have been working on this doll for maybe 2 to 3 weeks now. I've definitely started working on this doll kind of when I was in the middle of making Miss Penelope Featherington over here, and that's why I was getting anxious because I have not sit down and film. This doll has posed a lot of challenges, more so than my Venus Ariel, believe it or not. There's a lot of working behind the camera, which I did film. I'm gonna do my best to edit this the way it makes sense for you all to process it, because right now it's not making sense to me. We are going to be making Miss Emma Frost from X-Men. She is many things: the White Queen from the Hellfire Club, a professor at Xavier University, a professor somewhere in Genosha. She is everything, and I love her so much. And if you've been here for a while, thank you so much for the continued support. You would know that I already made an Emma Frost way before. I have been wanting to remake my earlier dolls into like my vision now. She is still, I think, really good, and I do plan on selling her soon. I want to make an Emma Frost 2.0, and hopefully she will just match my vision so much more. I mean, when I was making this, there's a lot of questionable choices, but I think for the most part, she still looks really good. The face card is there, you know? I am in my X-Men mood again. I mean, when am I not on my X-Men mood? But of course, because of X-Men 97, that was so good. The gag is, I will be making 2 dolls of Emma Frost, one in her normal state and one in her diamond state. Ka-shing! You know? That alone is such a crazy idea for me, at least, because that's what I wanted to do with this. During this time, I was like, how do I make her into a diamond form? I can't just spray her with glitter. I can't just spray her in silver and call it a day. She's a diamond, because she's gonna look like Colossus. She's gonna look metallic. She's not gonna look like diamond. I will take you guys on that journey. I am currently on that journey, but I will, you know. The look I wanted to give her is an amalgamation of different Emma Frost fashions, like the cape from her Hellfire look, the new X-Men outfit, and so on. These are honestly elements I wanted to give the original Emma doll, but couldn't at that time. Like the first doll I made, I still want to make this really glamorous, vintage, and elegant. Emma Frost is such a canon fashionista in the X-Men universe, so I really need to deliver. I want to take a moment to thank Gothic Zombie Chayanin for helping me make this project a reality. They literally made it happen. You know, from sculpting the doll, teaching me how to resin print, literally walking me through all of the steps in order to create a successful BJD doll from scratch, for making this project a reality. Check out Gothic Zombie on Instagram. They are an amazing and talented 3D artist. So obviously the only course of action to make this doll posable and have articulation is to take the ball jointed route approach. That's actually how I got into doll customizing, because I was so deep into the BJD fandom before, and then I kind of lost interest. Gothic Zombie definitely reignited my passion for ball jointed dolls, and I am here for it. We're so excited to show you guys the drama of Miss Emma Frost. So I asked Gothic Zombie if they can make a BJD that is comparable to Barbie and Barbie's like overall scale. It would be kind of cool to have this doll be able to wear Barbie clothes. They have created this beautiful doll. My main notes for this doll that I wanted her to have: I want her to be able to wear Barbie's shoes. Overall, just have a fashion doll vibe to her, like a bombshell. I want her to be vintage looking. I want her to be pin-up, draggy drag beauty. And Gothic Zombie knows which boxes to really check when it comes to designing a doll for me, so it was perfect. Before really diving into it, I wanted to do some test printing first with the doll to see how everything would work, and I actually asked Gothic Zombie to do some edits on the sculpt for posing and aesthetic purposes. I feel so bad because I requested so many edits. Here is the prototype for Miss Emma in her normal body. She poses so well, and my god, like made to move who? Every time I get a new doll with a new body, my go-to test is to see if they can pose with their legs crossed elegantly. Like, this is for me the ultimate test of like posing. All of these tilting and everything, like she just looks, oh my god, like she looks crazy. She's flying, she's like, woo. She's like, woo. She's like, you know, she's like that. Oh my god, she's amazing. For her skin tone, I'm actually using 3 types of resin: a beige one, a white one, and this Super Flex additive resin. It just makes the overall formula a little bit more flexible and not so rigid and brittle. So I just mix that all up, carefully put it into the printer, and we just have to wait for a short 8 hours. I wish I can give you guys a very satisfying time lapse of this entire thing printing, but I cannot record 8 hours worth of footage continuously. I've seen people do it. I'm gonna try and learn how they do that correctly. There's a technique for it. I feel like there's a trick. Here are all of the pieces that I have printed, and there are some fails in there. So behind the scenes, I kept printing and printing and printing, and I printed a lot. Now I take this into the alcohol bath to clean up all of the excess resin. I then carefully scrape off all of the doll parts and make sure to not damage them, because they are so fragile, especially before you cure them. So I just have to be very, very careful. I like removing the supports before curing the resin. I feel like for me it's much easier, and I don't know, I don't feel like curing the supports onto the piece, you know? So I feel like for me it just makes it easier. So now I go ahead and put that onto my curing station, and we cure it for maybe like 2 minutes on each side. Here are all of the doll parts that I printed for the normal Emma Frost. They still need to be processed, sanded, and sueded, everything. But I thought I'd show you guys how much parts I printed out, because some of them would fail, some of them are not perfect. Like this one cracked while I was removing the supports of it. We actually created 2 types of torso and 2 types of waist so far. This is the classic waist and also the rounded bust. So this is the cone bra bust and also a more cinched in waistline. For Miss Emma, I'm gonna be using the cone bra with the classic waistline, I guess. Let's go ahead and make a pattern for her outfit, and I'm just using the saran wrap and tape method for that one because this is going to be skin tight, and I am just drawing the shorts on her, trying to get a beautiful and workable pattern of some sort. The fabric I'm using is this 4-way stretch white fabric, but it's really, really beautiful and I like it. This entire doll video consists of things that I don't really love to do. I started doing the major sewing behind the scenes because, yeah. At first, I was like, maybe I'll just make one outfit and make it changeable, you know, because we have 2 Emma Frost dolls, one normal Emma Frost and one diamond Emma Frost. But honestly, dressing up a BJD is a lot harder than dressing up a regular fashion doll. I know I'm careful when I'm dressing up my dolls, but I'm like extra careful when I'm dressing up a BJD. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make my life easier for the future, but harder right now. And we will make 2 complete outfits. And also because I learned my lesson with Miss Penelope over there. She has like 3 outfits, 1 doll. And yeah, changing her up is also not the most fun. So I have made 2 pairs of shorts right here. That took me forever. And I also made 2 pairs of tights. Please don't judge it. It's not perfect. Warbler is quite expensive, so every time that I have a decent piece that I can recycle, I recycle it. Let's make her bra pattern, and again, I'm just using the tape and saran wrap method as well. We're cutting it up, and then I will be tracing this onto Warbler. I decided to use Warbler for her neck piece and also the bra because I feel like it's a little bit more functional and it will give it a more armor vibes. And putting it on and off, I just feel like it'll be satisfying. It'll just kind of snap on. And I'll also be able to perfectly mold it to the doll's body. I'm actually really happy that I have this white prototype to kind of use as a mannequin because I would have hated trying to do this on the final doll because I feel like I don't think this could be damaging to the doll's skin, but you know, as much as possible, I wanted to, I don't want to like do anything that could potentially harm the surface of the final doll. Now let's go ahead and paint the neck piece and the bra. I actually used Effects Flexible Paint for this one just because we are going to be flexing it in and out of the doll when, you know, we put it on, so I feel like having a flexible paint would just be beneficial. I added a coat of pearlescent paint on top for her neck piece and bra, and it looks really, really cool overall. Like, we can leave this alone if the shorts matched, but unfortunately it doesn't match. We're gonna cover it up anyway, but let's just go ahead and paint the shorts for, you know, for giggles. I am currently in the process of finishing up her last cape, and I don't know why, but double hemming this took me 5 hours. I was having machine problems. Yes, I did this all by machine. I wanted it to be clean. I want to make her such a huge cape. So grand. I kind of want to just give her the same cape that I gave Scarlet Witch. Lots of trials, lots of errors, and I'm over it already. I added some elastics to both sides of the cape just so that her arms can fully go into it because I really love the over-the-shoulder draped cape look for Miss Emma Frost. I love how full this cape is. It's a lot of rouging and gathering, but it is really, really cool and I'm so obsessed with it. For the fur, I had 2 options to choose from. I had this one, which is what I used for the original Emma Frost doll, and I also had this fur fabric. It is faux fur, but it looks a lot softer and just overall I feel like it just looks more luxurious. I feel like this was an easy choice, you know, let's go for the fluffier one. I actually hate dealing with like fur fabrics, so I make sure to brush all of the excess fur out because I hate it when it's flying everywhere. And honestly, it just makes it look more fluffy and just overall amazing. So now let's go ahead and stitch that onto her cape. Oh my god, look how like luxurious this looks. It just looks so expensive, so rich. And now I do want to add some wiring to this cape. Of course, I am making two capes as well. So one of them will have no wire and then the other one will have a wire. This will be the action cape, so we can pose it and just make it look more dramatic. Here is her wired cape, and I hope I didn't make any mistakes on this one. Oh my god, imagine this on a storm figure. I really love that, honestly. It still has movement. I mean, this is, oh my god, this is very like, imagine if this was Storm. That is pretty major. I think I am ready to bedazzle, and I think that would be a good reference to the other live action Emma Frost, where her body literally turns into small gems. This is so satisfying to watch right now during the time lapse, but in the moment, it's one of those things that you just kind of dread starting. But then once you're in the middle of it, you're like, okay, I'm kind of having fun. I can't wait to finish it. But then you remember you have to stone 2 full sets of outfits. So that changes your mood again, and it's just not fun to think about. But again, watching this is pretty satisfying, and it's kind of like a reward. I feel like one of my favorite reasons why I like Emma Frost is because she is so vain and she really cares about like how people perceive her. One of the main canon stories of Emma Frost is that she actually had plastic surgery, which I think is so funny to me. For her, outer appearance is also a way to protect herself. It's kind of like her pre-diamond form without it being a diamond form. And she actually has naturally brunette hair. So her blonde hair, she just dyes it all the time. I thought that was such a like awesome move from her. I think the main plastic surgery that she's had was a nose job and also a chest job. One major thing that I love about Emma Frost is that she adapts this fake British accent. For the longest time, I thought she was British, and I thought she just had different versions of her story. Also, I added some clear snaps behind her bra so that her cape will adhere to it a little bit better. So she has a lot of support with the cape, you know. It is hanging onto her arms, and it is also snapped to her back. So I thought that was necessary overall for the cape to attach to her. Oh my god! Look at that! It looks so frigging cool! For her shoes, of course, she will be wearing the iconic Model Muse pumps. And again, I was so adamant that this doll will be able to wear Barbie shoes, specifically the Model Muse pumps, because these are like the only shoe that I love and adore. It's just so fierce and just so glamorous, and it's literally like the highest Barbie heel out there. It was necessary. Of course, we will be giving her the red bottoms. It's been a while since I've done this, and I'm really happy. It just brings me joy. And I know that Miss Emma Frost would be rocking some serious red bottoms. This is literally like a direct reference to my birthday shoe when I was wearing an all-white outfit. So I just finished sanding and also washing this doll, and it is very smooth to the touch. It is so satisfying to just feel. Let's go ahead and start putting the doll together and stirring her up. This one is going to be very satisfying and just so rewarding to see. I've never strung up a doll before, so this is literally my first time. It's just so cool to see all of the different doll parts just come together to create one single doll, and I was just geeking out the entire time. I gotta say though, stringing up a doll, especially if you don't have the appropriate tools, was a little bit harder because of the tension, but overall I was able to string her up successfully. And of course, she has the delicate aerial Venus hands, which I am so obsessed. gothiquezombie converted them into the BJD, doll hands, and it's just so perfect. I wasn't sure whether to body blush or not because I don't really love the texture that it becomes, and overall it's just harder to really keep up with it, but I'm like, you know what, it's my first BJD, might as well go for it, blushing up, the joints, the knees, all of those that cracks over time. And also I feel like it just breathes some life to her. And of course, I cannot make an Emma Frost doll without giving her some shimmer, some body glitter. I really controlled myself last video with Penelope Featherington with the glitter and the highlighting, but for Miss Emma Frost, we are going all out! Now it's time to start her face up, and I was so nervous about this because I've never really worked with this face before. This is a brand new head, and overall it should have all of the features that I love with doll faces. It has strong brow bone, it has a pouty lip, it has a flat eye base so that you can draw any eye shape and it should work, but it's still not a guarantee that my eye style and how I do my faces will work with this doll. So I just let the pencils and brushes take the wheel. I really don't know why I am just obsessed with the idea that Miss Fame will fit so well as Emma Frost. So of course I wanted her to still be the main muse for this doll. I want the Miss Fame essence for this doll. However, I feel like for her face, I definitely took in a lot of inspiration from my own drag face with how I do my eyebrows, my eyeliner, my crease, and also how I draw my lips. This is like a combination, the essence of Miss Fame with my drag makeup. I don't know if that makes sense, but to me that makes perfect sense. Because we are drawing onto a resin head, not a vinyl or rubber doll, it is a little bit different and everything just seems to be a little bit more grainy. So I had to definitely make sure to really blend everything out, make sure that the thin lines are sharp as they can, and just overall work with the material. Please don't mind the constant lip changing because at first I was like, let's give her a nude natural lip. And then I was like, actually, let's give her a pink lip. Overall, in the end, vintage classic for me always wins because that's what I wear when I do my drag makeup. So we are going to be painting her lips with a beautiful classic red lips. And also, Emma Frost originally had red lips anyway. There are a lot of fan art and official art that shows her with blue lips, which I actually really like, but I feel like the blue lips really emphasizes the frost and ice vibe to her, which, really matches her personality. But I feel like a lot of people who don't know Emma Frost will think that she has ice powers. I'm like, she already has the frost in her last name, and then she has blue lips. Like, she just looks like Killer Frost to me, so I don't know, I feel like the red just matches her vibe for me a little bit better. And of course, we cannot forget the beauty mark. If you guys thought I was joking with highlighting her, I was not. Over here, I am using 3 different highlighters, one in solid white, one in white that shifts into blue, and one that is pure silver. And honestly, I'll be covering everything in the silver one. I can't help myself. Let's bring some life into her eyes by adding the catch lights, and let's also give her some lashes. While that dries, let's go ahead and gloss up her lips. And voila, we are finally done with Emma Frost's face up. I am so in love with how it looks. I love the lips. It's very cherry red and it's just so freaking amazing looking. I love her eye makeup. It's pretty like neutral in terms of the colors, but it has that beautiful smoky cut crease in there. And overall, I am just vibing with this face. It really is giving charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, if you know what I mean. Now let's work on her hands, and of course, this also needs to be body blush. It needs to match the overall body and face. So let's go ahead and work on them. I am just so obsessed with this specific pose because I feel like it works perfectly with Emma Frost. Like, it looks like she's using her mental powers. Like, if you put this onto her forehead, it is perfect. Like, this hand pose is just so universal, and I feel like this will be her main hands. Of course, to match the red bottoms and also her lips, we will be giving her some red nails. Oh my goodness, I am so freaking obsessed with how this looks. I'm just... And here is the other pair of hands that I could potentially use as well. I don't see it being used as much, but we're going to work on it anyway, just in case, because there are some poses that this will be perfect for. We're adding another thing. This project has just been, let's add this, let's add that, and that is giving her the psychic crown, kind of like this power effect over here. I am so in love with how it looks. I'm finally using this clear Warbler that I've had for 5 years now. So I am just cutting crescent moon shapes onto it, and we are also cutting the designs for the power, which is kind of like waves and ripple effects. Honestly, I could have used regular like plastic for this one in hindsight, but I thought the Warbler is a little bit thicker and more flexible. Then I'm taking my hot glue gun and we are just creating this 3D effect to really emphasize the wave and the power that she's using. A lot of action figure artists actually use hot glue to create those power effects, so I thought this was apropos. I then mixed the silver mica powders with a gloss just to add some magic onto the piece. Overall, we need 5 of those to create the entire crown, although behind the scenes, I actually made this like 3 times, and this is like the best that it looked. So I just attached them all together using a wire so that they are easy to pose and kind of figure out. But overall, you kind of want them to look like a crown, kind of like a claw, and I'll be attaching it onto her head using a magnet. I love everything, all of the side view of it. It looks really, really cool. I think that we are able to move on and make Miss Emma Frost's wig. I'm gonna be using this yarn over here. It has kind of like a shift of gold in there. It almost looks very silky and metallic in a way. Let's go ahead and process these yarns and turn them into silky yarn wefts. Now we really have to make a wig for this doll, and for that, of course, I always start with the nape of her neck in the back, and I work my way up. And you want to make sure that you are strategic where you're gluing the wefts, and make sure to consider the hairstyle in the end. I am actually so obsessed with this particular brand of yarn because it is so silky and just glossy and shiny. I love it. Now let's go ahead and curl everything using my heated metallic chopstick, and everything just needs to be under curled. For the most part, a lot of vintage hairstyles, you want to make sure everything is under curled since it really needs to hold up those intricate vintage hairstyles. Now let's go ahead and do our brush out. For my first Emma Frost doll, I had no idea what I was doing. I did not really know a lot about vintage hair, and I wanted to model hers after Dita Von Teese, Now for this hairstyle, it is still very much Dina Von Teese and Hollywood waves and overall vintage hair, but it is mostly Pinup Palmer here on YouTube. I just love how she styles her hair, I love how long it is, I love how sculpted it looks, and the double bump on her hair is something that I have been obsessed with for a while now. I'm using this Suavecito pomade to really keep all of her hair intact and all of the flyaways kind of tame, and overall it just makes the entire wig smell so freaking good. I am so obsessed. It really is giving Pinup Palmer, and I just love it. It's so vintage, it's so 1940s. I couldn't help it, of course. I sprayed it with glitter, hair glitter, of course. Without it, it just looked way too regular and kind of like boring. And this is Emma Frost we're talking about. Like, she is the definition of extra, and I feel like it just adds a little bit more magic. Recently, I haven't been into the clamp doll stands. I'm also not a fan of the saddle stands, the one where they kind of like sit on it, because it's not stable at all. I wanted to go all out, you know, at the while making this doll. I was like, I think she might be so cute if she's standing on top of a diamond. So that means it's gonna be another project to do. So I asked Gothic Zombie again, it would be so cool if we take an actual diamond and just slice the top half and just use that for the doll base. So the very first attempt failed, and unfortunately that was the last of my clear resin. I cannot fail again with this one. If I fail again, it's gonna be the end of me. We are going to pivot. I feel like this whole project with Emma Frost has been a bunch of pivoting, and you just have to go with the flow. My next plan is actually 3D printing the doll stand in regular resin, stick that into a mold, and then cast it in clear resin so it's a solid resin piece. I tore it. I was yeah, I was very impatient. It's definitely like fixable. Let's go ahead and make a mold out of this doll stand. For the mold, I am just using silicone, and this one is an older one that I have laying around for a while, so I wasn't even sure if this was going to work. This project definitely just refuses to be smooth sailing. The mold that I made for the base did not work out well. I mean, the outside cured pretty well, but the inside of it is completely wet and sticky. Just a layer of silicone that did not cure. I had to rush and go to Michael's. They had this amazing mold maker. Apparently you can demold it in 30 minutes, and apparently it fully cures in 24 hours. So now let's go ahead and pour resin into it. And this resin, I actually added some mica powders in there as well. It's all have been a fail. It's all been a fail. This is actually my third attempt. I have made the other two, and they all just came out with bubbles. Because obviously we need this to be clear and really bubble free, I give up on this idea because I have spent so much money. It's already been expensive, so it's just getting further expensive. I'm taking the L on this one. We're pivoting again. And I remember that I have this crystal lotus, and I was like, maybe I can use that in some way to make her a stand. Have her stand, that could be kind of cool. Upside down like this, I feel like that could be kind of cool. This was definitely harder than I thought. Maybe because I didn't really have the proper tools, and I was trying so hard not to crack the entire thing. And overall, I was trying to really be gentle with it. I was working on this for maybe 8 hours because it's a really thick, it's like half an inch of glass that I'm trying to break through. So I was just using my regular equipment. I'm a little upset that it's not perfectly cut, like it's not super clean. This is the look, so yeah. Here are both outfits that is completed, bedazzled, and stoned to the gods. They sparkle so well, and I am obsessed with how magical it looks. Even though we didn't use Swarovski or Preciosa, it is still so freaking amazing looking. The glamour is glamoring. I actually painted the inside of the shoes and the costume overall white because the diamond is see-through and it actually shows the actual color of the pink shoe and the brown warbler. So I wanted to take that into consideration. And of course I have her 2 pairs of stockings and gloves. I decided to give her fingerless gloves like the princess gloves instead of a full glove because I really want to highlight her fingers and also her manicure, and overall I just feel like it looks really elegant. She wears these types of gloves all the time anyway, so I thought it was fitting. Now it's time to dress up the White Queen in her fabulous and regal vêtements. Every time I create a specific character, whether it's a cartoon, anime, celebrity, or whatever, I try to consume media that is about that character. Mostly YouTube videos, so for Miss Emma Frost, I was binge watching a lot of like things you didn't know about Emma Frost, or Emma Frost using her powers, Emma Frost fashions, like anything Emma Frost on YouTube, I would literally watch. I really love doing that because I feel like it ignites a passion for me for the character that I am making, and honestly, it's kind of like research also. I even listen to music that I think would fit the overall character that I am creating, whether it's official or not. And of course, I was also binge watching Miss Fame and Pinot Palmer's videos here on YouTube to really get that glamorous inspiration. I actually made a playlist to put them all together, and I have linked it down below or at the iCard if you guys are curious. So I highly recommend it if you are new to Emma Frost and you want to know more about her and some of the inspirations that helped me create this doll. Check out part 2 to see her diamond form.